If you're in your 20s right now, you are probably dealing with a unique kind of career paralysis. It's a byproduct of having infinite scroll brain, where you are constantly exposed to thousands of highly visible career paths. Every time you open your phone, the modern digital environment bombards you with a new success metric. One guy is pulling thousands of dollars out of a crypto token. Another is getting funded by Y Combinator for a new startup. And someone else is traveling the world as a remote freelancer. Every creator has a persuasive narrative fighting for your attention. When you compare a standard entry-level salary against a skyrocketing housing market, waiting 30 years to retire feels unworkable. As a result, people try to compress those 30 years of wealth generation into 5. They engage in hypergambling, taking high-risk, uncalculated long shots on penny stocks or obscure businesses, hoping just one of them hits. On the opposite end of the spectrum is the strategy of maximum optionality. Instead of placing wild bets, people hoard random internships, unrelated degrees, and disjointed corporate credentials. The goal is to keep every possible door open by spreading focus across multiple industries at once. Refusing to close doors feels safe, but it acts as a constant tax on your willpower. By distributing your energy across 5 separate options, your commitment to your primary work drops, ensuring you make zero impact in any single direction. Venture capitalist Peter Thiel maps out how people view the future using a specific framework. A large portion of young professionals land in the indefinite optimist quadrant. They firmly believe the future will be bright, and the universe will align for them, but they have no specific plan to build it. Because they lack a specific roadmap, they substitute actual skill execution with credential collection. They spend years stacking up degrees and placing recognizable corporate logos on their resumes, essentially building a giant net and waiting for luck to fall into it. Juggling 5 unproven interests with 0 deep execution offers no structural safety. Without a working core, this behavior qualifies as career confusion, not diversification. To fix this, we have to define the operational difference between confusion and true diversification. Diversification requires one core asset generating reliable returns, which then funds a second venture. Confusion is trying to launch 5 projects at once when none of them are stable. You see the danger of confusion clearly in the freelancer's trap. Quitting a stable job to take on 3 random independent clients is often sold as the ultimate career freedom. In reality, it strips away your corporate buffer and maximizes your individual vulnerability. In a standard corporate role, you are shielded from cash flow issues. If a client pays late, the company absorbs the hit and you still get your paycheck. As a solo freelancer without an established brand, you absorb all of that risk. You can finish a 3-month project perfectly, and the client can still delay your invoice for 90 days, leaving you with 0 revenue. To survive those cash gaps, you have to constantly hunt for new contracts. Very quickly, you stop practicing your actual craft, like graphic design or software engineering, because you have to spend half of your week attending networking events and performing sales pitches just to maintain a scattered deal flow. Attempting to keep your options open across multiple small gigs doesn't build financial safety. It multiplies your career risk, burns through your daily bandwidth, and guarantees 0 reliable income. The fastest way out of this trap is systematic elimination. The philosophy of essentialism offers a brutal filter. If a career opportunity isn't a 9 out of 10 hell yes, it gets eliminated immediately. Author Gary Keller provides a practical tool for this in his book, The One Thing. Instead of trying to maintain 5 paths, you ask yourself, what is the one specific action I can take right now that makes all other goals unnecessary? Committing to a single path generates compounding brand trust, providing you with deep institutional leverage. Establishing an anchor in a single domain first creates the leverage necessary to scale, whereas prematurely hedging your bets leaves you without a foundation. Knowing you need to focus is easy, but picking the path requires a reliable mental funnel. You need a fast, systematic way to strip out the noise and force a definitive choice. A highly effective tool for assessing this risk comes from Jeff Bezos, who splits corporate decisions into one-way and two-way doors. A two-way door is a reversible decision. If you walk through it and realize the role or the project is a terrible fit, you can turn around and go back. Those decisions should be made in 5 minutes. A one-way door is irreversible, like permanently burning a bridge with a major client. Those demand weeks of consideration. Young professionals consistently paralyze themselves by treating every minor career experiment as a permanent, one-way life sentence. Testing a new coding language or taking a short-term freelance contract isn't an irreversible fate. When you correctly label a choice as a two-way door, you instantly remove the fear of making the wrong call. It frees you to execute rapid experiments instead of staring blankly at a whiteboard. To run these experiments effectively, deploy a strictly time-boxed 60-day curiosity sprint. Give yourself exactly 2 months to dive deep into a new industry. When the clock runs out, you either commit to it entirely or you permanently reject it and move on. Apply the rule of 3 to this process. Date 3 serious career paths, work 3 jobs, or ship 3 major projects. Once you hit 3, you know exactly what to expect. Endless sampling beyond that point rarely improves clarity. It only creates substantial opportunity cost by delaying your compounding returns. Locking into one path doesn't mean giving up your other interests. Look at superstars like Ranveer Singh. They don't start out selling protein bars and clothing brands. They secure one core undeniable success first, and then use that widespread recognition and free cash flow to launch their passion projects later. Most professionals spend their entire careers paralyzed by the thousands of exciting options sitting just outside their reach. The simple act of making a definitive choice ends the confusion that prevents most people from ever building anything substantial.